YouTube, what's going on? Alex and Mike, the Second City Sleepers here once again. Bringing you a video of, got a few things we want to talk about. We've had some people kind of ask us our opinions on some things and a couple ideas we've had ourselves that we wanted to discuss. I had somebody come up to me and ask me why we talk about the independent scene so much and why we think it is better than like WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor. Well, Ring of Honor kind of falls in that independent line, but the reason why we seem to talk that up more than the mainstream shows right now, and in my opinion, the main reason of that is because the talent you have in independent shows, they have something to prove to these higher up companies. You got guys in independents right now. You know, we talk about Shane Hollister all the time. You know, we got
Jimmy Jacobs.
We got Davey Richards, which he's in TNA right now with Eddie Edwards. But you got so many these big talents in independent scenes that work their asses off compared to guys, you know, say John Cena again, who have everything handed to them. These guys in independent scene don't have things handed to them aside from Eddie Kingston. Sorry.
I wasn't expecting that. That's why it made me laugh.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, the only main show we really keep track of on independent scene is AAW. I mean, you do have some of the bigger shows.
Like Evolve's out there, and Dreamgate, and Dragon Gate, I mean.
CZW is still out there, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all that East Coast stuff, unfortunately, we're not on the East Coast to watch it. But I read up on it. I stay on it on the aspects of reading up on what happened in the matches and who's winning and it's just, what I'm reading sounds fantastic. Like, I can visualize it because of going to so many shows and doing this for so long. That when you have a good writer recapping it, it's almost like I'm watching it. And therefore, I still keep up with it.
ProWrestling.net.
That's one of them I use. Pro Wrestling Torch as well is another one I use, but I like .net better. But yeah, independent scene. Like Alex said, like all these stars are proving something. I mean, since I've been going to independent scene, you've gotten Dan O'Brien, Cesaro, Tyler Black, which is Seth Rollins, Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards, Zema Ion or DJZ. In TNA. Man, I'm missing some. Who else have I seen? U-Haul Nation just got signed. Sammy Callahan is in NXT. He's great.
He's not really doing much, unfortunately, but he's outstanding.
But yeah, he's great. Ryan, you just texted us, so hi.
What's up, bud?
Oh man,
you got other guys that haven't made up there yet, like Michael Elgin. You got Kyle O'Reilly. You got
Kevin Steen's at NXT.
You got Zero Gravity, who is probably the equivalent to Motor City Machine Guns, but a little smaller. I'm still waiting for AAW to put something together like that, because they do have Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley available to them. If you guys are watching this, make it happen. That match would be incredible, without a doubt. 5-star match, in my opinion.
Yeah, great match. Sign that. We would do that for you if you hired us.
Yep.
So
bringing the peeps.
You have all these great talent in the independent scene before they're known. So you're seeing all this, and also something that the independent scene does is they don't. They have the option not to hold them wrestlers back, so they can go out there and you can have those cool, crazy NXT matches. If you saw the Sami Zayn versus Adrian Neville match, at TakeOver 3. Where there were some kickouts. You get pay-per-view quality matches for $15, AAW.
AAWrestling.com.
And, so you get all this, and it's not just this 1-star match, or this 3, 4, 5-star match that you're getting at the end of a wrestling show. You go to these independent shows, and like, half the card is phenomenal. And then the other matches that are on the card are entertaining. And maybe you get 1, 2 that are just like, okay, they're
Justice.
there. And, it is what it is. And you get some that are just crap. But that's fine because they're doing what they love, and, that's great.
So, one thing that kind of makes independent wrestling different from what you see on TV is that you see a talent grow, and you see him mature within the business. And when they eventually do get to the higher up WWE, TNA, you kind of feel like a relationship with that talent, even though you don't know them personally. But you can go out there and say, I've seen this guy from the beginning, like me with CM Punk. I've been watching him since he was IWA Mid-South. Other Tyler Black, Dean Ambrose, Cesaro, all those guys that are up there now, we've seen, well,
I haven't seen
I've watched per se. online before he made it up, but we can say that we've been following those guys from the beginning and seen them before they made it up, and that's what kind of makes independent wrestling special to the wrestling fan.
Yeah, that's why we love it so much. Plus, wrestling is just better because they have more time to do things. But moving on to another one, how young talent could change the company into something better. Well, I mean, just like it kind of goes off what we were just talking about. That worked out good. Because you have a connection to it if you're watching them. The young talent's going to be the future. They're the ones that are going to be around if they connect to the fans and if they have the talent in the ring to do so, which most of them do because we make it to that level. No matter how much we may not like somebody, they are good at what they do, at least wrestling-wise, or should be. So since they are the future, if they're booked right, if they are given the right materials, and if they win the right matches, if they can connect to the fans, they will make the company better, because now you have something to look forward to, something to look into, something to like not just worry about, oh well, like, okay, he's the champion now, but he's kind of old, so eventually he's going to lose the belt and go retire and go away, unless you're Ric Flair and just stays around forever for some reason. And so that's how they can change wrestling better, because it's the young talent that's going to keep us watching for the next 10, 15 years. Instead of the old talent, who I still love. I mean, look, I'm still wearing a shirt from the 90s that,
Still wearing a shirt from the 2000s.
Yeah, that was, built up of people that, well, one person's dead, Macho, rest your soul. And then Sting, basically at the end of his career, he's probably going to have one more match against Triple H at Mania, hopefully go over and retire, and then go in the bigger Hall of Fame. Does that mean? I don't mean anything by that.
True.
And then Nash, he's done. I doubt we're going to see him in a ring again unless you're on an independent thing. Conan's in Lucha Underground, which you can't find on any TV because it's on El Rey Network.
Yeah, but if you look it up online, it's really good stuff. What they
it is.
I'm
they have
about
it.
Ezekiel
cool.
Jackson going on right now, but different topic.
They got Ricochet,
yes.
who they call King Puma. Ricochet is amazing. That's another guy that is going to be on TNA or WWE in the future. And if
Very
he's
soon.
not, they're crazy not to hire him and push him to the top, because dude is amazing. But you got some thoughts on that?
As far as younger talent goes, you got big guys coming up now. I mean, you got the whole NXT thing. So this whole idea with younger talent making the company better, it's out there. It's all going to come down to how Vince and Triple H manage them, what they do with these talents. I mean, we've discussed it in the past. We got Sami Zayn, you got Adrian Neville, you got Tommy, I keep forgetting his name. You got all these great young stars in NXT coming up, and it's coming so close to where the company could make a change. Not going back to Attitude Era. I'm tired of hearing that. But
what if? I'm sorry to cut you.
No, you're good.
It just actually popped in. No thinking pre-hand before this. What if they decide to get rid of NXT and NXT became part Raw and took over Raw, like
Nexus Part 2.
Yeah, I guess that kind of would be a rip-off of a Nexus.
But it'd be a little better.
But you have different talent. Nexus is done in a way, and now that's a way to just push at least this group of NXT people now, that's in there now, and then you can just take the next group in NXT number 2 and just build them up, and then do whatever you want to do with them.
That's the whole thing with that NXT roster right now, is that entire roster
should come up,
or at least most of it is better than anything on television. Ziggler aside.
And Ambrose
and Rollins and
and there's others. I'm not hating.
Reigns could be up there if you can learn how to talk.
They pre-tape this stuff most of the time now, and it gets better because they're able to fix it and take 15 takes and whatever. It's fine. We don't take 15 takes. We just do one.
I do retract my statement about that he will not be the next John Cena. He's going to be the next Batista.
I don't like. I mean, I like Batista. I'm the way
What?
I've always liked Batista. Always. I mean, I'm not saying he's like the best, by no means he's not my top 5 or 10 wrestlers.
Leviathan.
I like Batista. He's a guy that I like seeing around, and I never was like, fast forward or like turn a channel. I don't know. I like him.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I like him.
If you haven't watched it, there's a video of Jim Cornette discussing him. I saw it on Facebook. It's on the wrestling page. I reposted it on our Facebook page. Go ahead and check it out. It's like a 2-3 minute video discussing about Batista's time in OVW. Cornette really rips on him big time. It's pretty good video.
Since we didn't do it earlier, these questions are from Facebook, from Twitter, from our YouTube page, and from people we run into, friends of ours and whatnot. So feel free, if you want us to do a question for you, send it into the links below. Maybe it'll be on now, maybe at the end of the show whenever it comes up. But, hit us up, Facebook and YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah, but going on to the next topic, we are going to discuss briefly, because if we get into it too much, it's going to take an hour. We're going to discuss the good and bad about each era from the past and the present. Probably best place for it to start off would probably be back from the Monday Night Wars between WCW and WWE. What made it good about that was self-explaining to it. It's WCW versus WWE. It was great what they did. I mean, you had DX go over with the tank over to WCW, tried to break in. It was great TV. Everything you saw.
Oh, sorry.
I thought you were going to say something. My bad. Everything you saw between WCW talking about WWE, talking trash about them, and WWE doing the same thing back, it made great TV.
Oh man, it was great. The black and white MWO things with Bischoff challenging McMahon to a match. What if they would have done that? I mean, how awesome would that have been if they would have had a separate pay-per-view, WCW versus WWE, and they obviously you would have to write it so they took draws or just have interference the whole time, but whatever. How cool would that have been if you could have got those matches? I mean, what if WCW would have opened up the damn door for DX to come in, like to call their bluff? I mean, do you think Triple H would have the nuts to go in? And I don't mean any disrespect to you, Triple H, about that, but like, what would you have done if they would have opened the door and there would have been like the Horsemen and the NWO saying, "Okay, come on." That your great tank thing would have either A, backfired, and WCW would have just destroyed you that night in that battle, or you know what I mean, or there would have been a big brawl and like it would probably have been a real fight. I mean, how would you? That would have been awesome. I mean, for a viewer, I would have been like, that is freaking awesome.
Yeah. Now going on to a bad thing about it real quick. One bad thing about it was towards the end of NWO when you had the entire roster as an NWO member almost.
Yeah, it went a little crazy.
That's when it got out of hand and everything started to go bad. I mean, other bad ideas. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bad idea. It's kind of just a stupid idea by WCW. It was when they announced that Mick Foley won the title.
Yeah, everybody turned to see.
Terrible move on their part. I mean, I'm not going to really say it was a bad part of the era, but I'm just going to say it was really stupid.
Because they were always giving away their tape things, which was fantastic.
It was great, yeah.
Like, you ruined your competition, so everybody just stayed with you. Like, it was
but when you announce the big thing, what do you think you're going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it was Foley's first championship. Everybody loved Cactus Jack, Foley, Mankind, whoever he was playing. Dude Love. Oh, dude. But also the internet wasn't a major factor.
Yeah, so that was a big part of it.
Wrestling was always secret. Like, you had people jumping and no one knew unless you got lucky and saw them, like, going into an arena or in an airport. You're like, hey, aren't you supposed to be in New York right now, but you're here, we're WCW. Oh my God, like, unless something, and most fans couldn't put that together anyways. And, so especially the internet kind of screwed wrestling as well. I mean, with the surprises. But that was another thing that made it better, though, because there were no surprises. You didn't know who was coming back from injury or who was jumping ship or who was just making an appearance. You just had people show up and you're like, what the hell is this? What's going on? Like, he wrestles for them or he wrestled for that. Or it was cool. But that was the Attitude Era / Monday Night Wars.
I'm sure going to the...
Do you want to go to the 80s or is that too far back?
That's too far back.
I can do it a little bit, because
I didn't really get into wrestling until early 2000s. I just remember some of the 90s stuff from seeing the WWE Network in 1999.
I love how we keep pumping.
we could keep plugging it for a company that we're disappointed in right now.
Whatever. It is worth the $10. You get the pay-per-view and you get NXT.
I guess we can go into the Ruthless Aggression era.
That's right. That's what they call it, right?
Yeah. You want to start off with this one?
That was basically when WCW then folded and you had the Invasion, and then what came in after the Invasion was basically then they started the Ruthless Aggression era. And, that's kind of like, that's when I was disappointed because they were, unless it was some people like Jericho and Big Show and people that already had left, Eddie Guerrero and we're not supposed to mention Benoit's name, but Benoit, and then and Perry Saturn and Dean Malenko. Everybody else kind of got bitched on. I mean, I know Kidman did okay with his career, and some of the ladies were fine. They were okay. And Mysterio had a nice little couple runs, and he was, pretty good.
And Goldberg got shit on.
But Goldberg got shit on.
Goldberg
Hall
guy.
and Nash and Hogan really never got it going again, even when they brought back the NWO, and it was cool. And they had the Hogan Rock thing, which was cool.
That was the only reason why they did it is because Vince knew that it would sell more money. Sell more shirts.
But they still pissed on him.
Yeah, they did.
And I mean, and that was the rise of his buddy John Cena, and I don't hate on the aspect that he pushed, because back when he was a heel, I mean, I was into it. I liked it. I mean, I wasn't like a Cena fan ever.
I was into the stuff he would say on the mic.
Yeah, his mic skills were good. But it was cool because instead of the attitude adjustment, it was the FU, and that was freaking awesome.
And
it was
the
like
STFU instead of the STF. Like, what the hell does STF stand for?
Oh, if you would have asked me that earlier, I would had more time to think about that. But I actually do know, and maybe it'll come to me while we talk, and I'll tell you. But that's just it was, you had all the stars, you had all the things, so that's what made it good. Is the stars. The star power there was fantastic. You had everybody. I mean, minus Jarrett and his crew and Sting, and you missed a couple of the stars from WCW, that went on, and but you had most of the star power, so you had this opportunity to be great, and you were just good. It was good. It wasn't bad, but you shit on people, but you had all the talent, so you were able to cover up what you shit on, and it still was good. And there's nothing to counterbalance it with except for the beginning of TNA, which wasn't that great. It was entertaining if you were able to watch in the Asylum stuff. I went back and watched some of those Asylum stuff, and then when they came on Spike, I watched TNA, and TNA got me back into wrestling even more because I got to see the people that I liked more, that I haven't been seeing for the last few years because they weren't on. And honestly, TNA in the beginning was really good. Wrestling was good. The stories were above average to good, and there's some bad. I mean, they always have bad. The talent, unfortunately, fluctuated in and out between Ring of Honor and them, and they had Punk and let him go because they thought he couldn't be a heel. Dumbass. And and they had Colt Cabana, which I know he's not a fan of, but Colt's a great wrestler. And they let him
I'm
go.
not a fan. I'm just not a fan of his character.
Okay, that clarified. Not a fan of character, which I can concur. His gimmick with all the funny business isn't the greatest stuff he can do. He can be a lot better. And
Ryan is a huge Colt Cabana fan.
He loves his cock.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's where he's with now.
That's why he's not here.
That's it. Ryan, you're with Colt Cabana. I get it. But listen to his podcast, Cabana's podcast. Check that out.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, I think that's I can't go too negative. I mean, the negatives were you didn't do. You could have done things better, but you didn't.
The negatives were you allowed John Cena on television. You brought him into television, and you ruined my life.
Go watch our John Cena episode.
I don't rant as much in that. I kind of bit my tongue a lot on it.
It's a very good episode. I think
is.
I've gotten feedback from people, and the feedback. I mean, there's obviously good and there's obviously bad, but I'm getting a lot of positive feedback on it, and that's great. And so I want to pimp that episode out a little bit. It's episode 22, right?
Yes.
It says John Cena. I mean, even if it's not 22.
Yeah, it's the only thing on our channel that will ever say John Cena.
Unless it sucks. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Which he does.
There's the aggression era.
Ruthless aggression era. I mean, you pretty much touch base on it. I'm not going to really discuss much about it. Then you have the PG era now, which there's nothing good about it. I mean, we could say we got Ziggler and Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. We got those guys out of it.
It's kind of like TNA. You have a lot of talent,
and you don't use
no
it right.
writing. And that's with wrestling in general right now. So the new era of wrestling right now. I mean, I guess and this is probably should have been your thing talking. I apologize, but it would have been. It would be that the creative is just so bad. It's just bad on the two mainstreams, TNA and WWE. Impact Wrestling, excuse me, and WWE, it's the creative is just bad. You have great talent, you have lots of stuff that can make it go, and you don't do it right. TNA with what they do, they need more time so the matches can go longer, and WWE has too much time because they keep giving us filling of crap. So maybe the companies just need to swap the hours so we can get a bunch of crap from TNA but more wrestling, and we can get less crap from WWE and more wrestling. So maybe it'll just work out that way for both of them. I don't know. What you feel about the new era, other than it's all crap?
It's all crap.
I
You
guess
said it perfectly.
I mean, we really should try to, because somebody did ask us this, so we should probably like really give a better
yeah, well, I mean,
definition.
the good out of it.
You're still watching wrestling, which is what we love. You get to see your heroes.
I'll think of something good. Hold on.
I'll keep going. You can still watch the people you love to watch.
I might need to put a timer down here below.
They're out there
Figure out
doing their
something.
thing, busting their ass, doing a good job, entertaining you. Whatever it is that they're doing that you like, they're out there and doing it for you. I mean, it's positive. That's really good. I mean, we still love. It may just not be the outcome or how they get there, is what we're not liking. So there's a negative of it too.
I do have one thing. I did get to see Ultimate Warrior one more time.
That's his guy. I like Warrior as a person. Like, you know, I just never was a big fan. Him and Hogan going at it, I didn't care about either. I wanted Savage. I was Macho.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Dig it. Sorry, that was probably bad. When I was younger, my boy Sean can tell you I can do that fucking perfectly. But now, can't do it.
Yeah, as far as bad stuff goes, for me, there's not enough time in the day.
He's got to work in 30-something hours.
Yeah. And like I said, creative's the whole issue right now. Vince, Triple H, pushing the wrong talent. I mean,
Holding back a good talent.
holding it back. Like Ziggler is just, they're starting to push him more. Now they're putting him up in this whole authority storyline with getting him fired, supposedly. It's,
I don't get it.
I mean, I can't picture him getting into a WWE title run, like the major title run. I just can't see it. Even
Who, Ziggler?
Yeah.
I can see him holding that belt for a long time like Punk did.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that.
You mean like how they're
I
pushing
can
him?
see it, but I can't see them doing it.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Because I could probably come up with a way to push Ziggler and have him have a run like, not as long as Punk, but, a nice long run, 200 days or something, that it's like, wow, you're an established guy. And Ziggler has the talent to pull that off in the ring. And, because, I mean, he's probably the best. Would you agree in WWE he's the best seller? He's the one that makes everybody look better?
Yes, I've been saying that since he first came up when he was with the Spirit Squad.
Oh, I hated them.
Spirit Squad's still around too, by the way.
Yeah, I know they're doing independent crap.
Yeah.
Obviously without Ziggler, but they do.
And it's just
I
two.
didn't
There's just two
like
of
it.
them now.
I know. I mean, it was just bad. I mean, how can 5 guys not beat up 2 guys? I mean, you had 5 guys and they could not beat up Triple H and HBK.
Ziggler was always a good seller since then, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think he's probably one of the best in the business. Definitely the best in WWE.
Somebody brought up to me once, and I know I kind of touched base on this briefly about Ziggler. I know it's a little off subject. We still got one thing to talk about real quick. But somebody brought up that Ziggler, I know I brought up that he could be the next Shawn Michaels, but somebody actually was bold enough to state that he's better than Shawn Michaels.
No, I mean, it's not a shot at Ziggler.
It's not.
He's very good. I think Ziggler, when it's all said and done, unless he shits on Vince's desk and goes away and doesn't turn up in TNA, doesn't have a positive thing there, I mean, that's all hypothetically, I think in 10 years, Ziggler's going to be in my top 10 all-time wrestlers.
Oh, yes. See, he is right. He's in mine right now.
Oh, see, he's not in my top 10, but I think he will be. I think he's going to put somebody out, and he'll be in my top 10. I can definitely see that. But HBK, I mean, he's in my top 3. I mean, him, Hart, and Sting. And Sting's not even. And Sting's in it just because not necessarily what he does in the ring, although when in his prime he was good. But just because that's just my favorite. That's just my favorite guy. So he's always gonna be number 1. And Punk is number 4. Used to be number 2. But like when I really sit back and look at it, as much as I love Punk and his mic skills, like I can't say he's a better wrestler than HBK or Bret Hart. So he's got to sit 4. Sorry. I know that might upset you.
Kind of hurt.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll get over
because
it.
Overall, Sting is, out of all 4 of them, Sting's the 4th best wrestler out of them. But it's just me personally.
That's just his own personal list.
Yeah, that wasn't trying to be a
family
list
list. It's
or
not a goofy
like
list.
Yeah, that was just personally for me. I mean, if you want to do a wrestling list and a superstar list are two different things, and
Which we did. That video's up now. It's one of our last videos. Go check it out. Got a good blooper on the end of that one too.
yeah, I have to check the blooper out. So
Yeah.
decline in quality of pay-per-views. I think it's because one, they don't care anymore. Except unless it's WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or the Rumble. I don't think WWE cares about any of their other pay-per-views. Hence, that they always change the names throughout the year. I mean, even when it was In Your House, back in the 90s, it was always something. They always changed the name every pay-per-view. And yeah, they've had some that stick around for, Hell in a Cell's been around for 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it's been. But eventually, they're going to get rid of that because the times will change. There's no more Taker. Kane's about done. Triple H is about done. Like, there's no one else to really need to have the Hell in a Cell match, so you can just do cage matches, and they're going to get rid of the Hell in a Cell eventually. But I also think the matches that are on WWE are on the pay-per-views. You see for 3, 4, 5 weeks leading up, and then you just get the same match in the pay-per-view except with a different ending. And hopefully, if you have two good wrestlers, they're putting on a different match. Example. TNA, you're bad, but I love you and I want you to survive and thrive and grow, and you have tons of talent. I mean, I can even argue you have more talent than WWE in a sense, because rosters are slim to big. But but anyway, Rude and Lashley had 3 matches, a series of 3 matches. Every match was really good, and yes, that's Bobby Lashley that was sucked in WWE, went to MMA, came to TNA, and just been phenomenal. I cannot praise him enough for the work he's doing in the ring. Granted, a lot of it, probably not a lot, but some of it has to do with the talent he's working with. He's worked with a lot of great talent in there, and he hasn't had a bad match in TNA yet. That's just hands down. He has not had a bad match yet. But Rude and him has had 3 matches, and they've been phenomenal. Each match has been different. Each match a different outcome, and each match has kept me intrigued the whole time. WWE has not been able to do that, so they have all these matches in Raw, and then pay-per-view hits, boom, same match, same thing, different outcome, and no one cares. That's part of those 2 reasons to me of the decline of the pay-per-view.
See, my whole thing with pay-per-views right now is all the matches you see now are predictable. I mean, pay-per-views used to be having quality matches where they'd go beyond their limits, but everything you see with pay-per-views now, match-wise, it's so predictable. You foresee each move that's coming. You foresee when you see that typical set list that a certain wrestler has for like 30 or 45 second period. You see it coming. You see each move coming. Another thing that annoys me is that pay-per-views used to be about title changes for the most part, but now most pay-per-views you don't see a title change, even if it's this IC title or tag title or Divas title, whatever. You used to see at least 1 or 2 almost every pay-per-view, but now it's like almost every pay-per-view you don't see title changes.
But there were also less pay-per-views too.
Yes, there were.
I mean, I know since like the 90s they've done 1 a month for the whole time. But before that, in the 80s in WWF, like there was 4? You had 4 pay-per-views a year. WCW did like 4 as well, and then they started, and then it was 6 and 6 in the early 90s. Then the mid 90s was like 8, and then like 94 was like 8, and then by 96 both companies were doing 1 a month. And that also hurts it too. More money, revenue. That's why they do it, but it hurts the product as well. And they haven't changed that, and they should change that because there's no reason to have 1 every month. WWE can go to 10 with no problem this coming year, and no one would care. And the next year they can go to 8, and they can probably keep it at 8, and be solid. TNA only has 4 a year, and they do fine on it. But again, I know it's because no one fucking watches TNA, and that's what you're gonna tell me.
Oh, I don't.
24 people that watch TNA. That's the joke. He always texts me, and I'm one of the 24, so I'm all good.
That means they're going up though. But that'll wrap it up. A final thought, real quick. Quick Royal Rumble prediction. What I see, prediction. Quick Royal Rumble prediction, which I think Cena's gonna beat Lesnar and Rollins for the title to tie Ric Flair's record, which should not ever happen. Rollins will cash in Money in the Bank, beat Cena, win the title, and that's going to set up Reigns versus Rollins at WrestleMania. Reigns will go on and win the Rumble match. Reigns will beat Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, take the title at WrestleMania.
I can see that happening. I can also see Bryan Daniel Bryan being number 1 or number 2, going on to win the Rumble. And
Kind of doing the Shawn Michaels thing.
Yeah, and getting... I mean, he's going to be number 1 or number 2 anyways,
Yeah.
right? Because you always have to have that one talent that can go the whole match, and then, either wins or loses. I think he's going to be 1 or 2, and I think he's going to win. I think they're going to do what they should have did last year for him, is give him the Rumble win, and I think then he'll go on and win the belt back from whoever has it at Mania. Whether they do a 3-way again or a Fatal 4, because you have to have Cena in the main event at WrestleMania. So I don't know. They'll do some crazy thing, but Bryan will be in that. Who wins at Rumble? Who wins the triple threat match at Rumble? If they've locked up Lesnar, he keeps it. No point in making him lose. If not, I hope, as a fan, as my fan pick, I want Rollins to win. Just to win without even cashing in. I want him to win. I want him to have the briefcase and have the damn belt, and then lose the belt and then cash in and win the belt back again. That's what I would do, because that's kind of cool. I don't think that's ever been done.
No, it hasn't. So I never thought of that, actually.
So that's actually kind of cool, and that's what I want to happen.
But that's not going to happen, though, because what do we know?
Yeah.
But this video's ran long, as all of our videos do. Sorry we're getting the rants. Hope you guys do enjoy it. But Facebook, Twitter, down there. Go ahead and click on those, like those, and follow them. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Favorite the video. Comment telling us your thoughts about what we discussed today.
On the video or on the discussion page.
Share the videos on YouTube, or from YouTube onto Facebook, Twitter, any social media thing. Go ahead and help us out. Tell your friends, your family, grandkids, cousins, uncles, nieces, nephews, everybody about us.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Cena sucks. You too. We'll see you later.